Good evening, Winter Park, Rollins College, WPRK. This is Creative Control Radio, and we're your hosts. I'm Elijah.
I'm Mecca.
I'm V.
And
I'm Hunter.
Wow. Party foul. Oh, DJ getting rusty over here. Hey, my bad, man. What's your name?
Hunter.
Thank you for joining
I
us.
could leave if you want. Like, I don't have to. I'm pretty tired, honestly.
I think you should leave, right? No?
That's crazy.
Yeah, nobody's getting that joke. Okay.
I got it.
We need what is it? The bunum.
We have that, but before I get to the badunts, we have a special guest in the house today, a filmmaker, production, anything else you want to add to the list? Content creator, I would say Instagram influencer, or influencer, period.
Weird guy.
Kyle Loftus in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that live studio audience. Our sound guy's on it today.
Thank
Wow. Kyle, how you feeling, man?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for having me.
If you feel as good as you look, you must feel great, brother. That's a nice hat. That's a nice shirt. It's that corduroy.
I dolled up for y'all. I'm not gonna lie. It's not often I'm wearing jeans.
like-
You know.
Fair enough. Shouts out to Hutton. Thanks for joining us, Kyle. We'll get back to you in a second. Mecca,
What's up, man?
how's your Tuesday going, big fella?
Not bad, man.
Okay.
Not bad.
Now, I hate to do this to you, but you said not bad like the last 3 times. Can you give us a little more than that?
It was fantastic. I had a great day.
Well, if it wasn't, you can say that too. But
No, it was cool. It was cool. I got my hair done for the first time in months,
oh man,
which is thought they were about to fall out.
It looks really good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
it was looking before. It's
Was
just
it?
looking.
Fair enough. Nah, it's cool. Tuesdays are. I feel like it's busier, but like loosely scheduled, so it's like
Yeah,
it feels more free. But I'm still like doing stuff all day.
yeah.
But it's
Fair
cool.
enough. It's almost like you got to like plan for like a radio show that night or something. So
Something
your
like
schedule's
that.
a little bit later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, DJ,
What's good? What's up?
how you feeling? Sun's out, guns out. It is summertime.
Yeah, feeling pretty fantastic.
Yeah, pretty fantastic today from V. Wow. Let's hear this. Don't worry, freak. You're next.
No, there's nothing big. Just I've been working all day, you know.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
a good day
Get
for
into
work.
the paper. Get into the money. And last but not least here, Freaky Phil, how's it going, man?
It's going
Hold on,
good.
I got you. There you go. A little later.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. No, it's going good. I started a new job today.
Did you actually?
Yeah. It's like a 1-day-a-week thing.
Yeah?
It's, yeah.
Feel free to share if you want. The
I mean,
camera's rolling.
it's nothing like crazy. It's just like a lab assistant at the school.
Oh,
So like
nice.
I'd
I think
help.
you did mention this.
Yeah, I would help with like studio stuff and just kind of upkeep and all that. But
Now, is this just a summertime gig or you?
yeah, I think because the person that hired me actually like they left yesterday, and
You'll be
I
like
was
that.
yeah, that was weird. And now I learned a bunch of stuff that I didn't know before, and just
Yeah.
about like the people there, and like everybody's nice, but I was like okay, and it just took a while for them to hire me, like HR.
Yeah.
And I had like weeks to sit with it, and I was like, do I even want this job anymore? But I think I'm gonna stick it out for the summer and maybe like into the fall, but I just wanted to do it for the experience really, and to meet more like artists and whatnot.
Wait, live assistant. That's like you're in the studio while they're recording, like.
Yeah, like I'd
Assistant?
check everybody in and like pop in if they need help, or like just check in on the session, make sure everything's going okay. But I'd be working with students, and like I already met some people today that I was like, cool, like you make this kind of stuff, like I don't know.
Not gonna lie, when you said lab assistant, I thought you were like the person that hands the doctor things, like scalpel and
Oh no,
Cleaver.
definitely not.
You're saying lab or live?
Lab,
Okay.
I still don't know. What'd you just say?
LAB.
Okay, lab. All right, thought so. Yeah.
Sorry,
Sweet.
lab.
It's your chocolatey voice, man. It just sounds
Is it
good.
chocolatey?
Yeah.
It's a little rough,
Speaking
I'd say.
of chocolate, Kyle, if you could describe yourself. It's something we ask all of our guests. Describe yourself in 3 words. What would it be? Don't worry. You can take your time.
No, we gotta keep moving. We're gonna go with bold,
Bold.
as stated before. Very weird. And we'll just say love.
Bold, weird, and love. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty unique.
Yeah.
where are we coming from with the bold?
One of the greatest quotes I've ever heard is, you got to risk it to get the biscuit, as well as the biggest risk you can take in life is no risk at all. And so,
That's correct.
Yeah, man, obviously as we're talking here, I'm a filmmaker, so I'm pursuing something that's probably considered really crazy. The likelihood of me accomplishing my dreams, percentage-wise, are extremely unlikely. And yet I'm going. Oh, I can't use that. I'm going hard. I'm going hard every day in that pursuit, And so I think that's a very bold, and some might say stupid idea, but I'm going to go with bold and stick with that.
Yeah, and yet, I love that. And yet, despite it all, weird. You mentioned weird twice now.
Elaborate.
Just elaborate?
Yeah, please. Yeah. What?
Again, I think just like sticking to essentially, I don't believe in complacency. I don't believe in life without suffering. Without, 50 Cent said there would be no joy if it wasn't for pain. There wouldn't be no sunshine if it wasn't for rain, right? And so for me, I believe in order to experience life and get the best out of it, you got to kind of go through a lot of suffering. You got to really push yourself and challenge yourself. And with that, in order to kind of make it fun, keep it interesting, I think you got to be a little weird, And so I think for me, weird, I guess really I'm really just saying cool without sounding like egotistical.
Yeah.
I think weird is just like you got to be willing to try new things, go out and explore the world, learn a new language, do things that scare the hell out of you.
Yeah.
And, I think because of that, my lifestyle to a lot of people might be considered weird.
Yeah. Speaking more to like your individualism, like how you operate in the world, staying true to yourself. Love that. It was bold, weird, and love.
Love.
How can you break down love for us? That's a big one.
Yeah, well,
Not a lot of people say that either.
I think, I hope at least a lot of people have that one kind of down at the core, but I think maybe it's one we all just kind of assume a lot of times. But for me, I think when I say love, it means coming into a space like this with kind of an open mind, open arms, and just accepting everyone for who they are and letting kind of the cards play out as they do. As well as, just showing up with a love and appreciation for everyone just on a human level.
Yeah.
And then I also think just ingrained in me, especially from my mother, is the idea of pouring love into everything you do. So for me, growing up with her, that was cooking. I learned to cook from her, and man, did she pour love into that, and still does. And I really learned to do that with everything I do. And so whether it's, cleaning the house or cooking, or it's, producing a video, or it's scripting out an idea, I try to approach it from a place of love and passion and appreciation for the fact that, I'm getting the opportunity to do it.
Right. Sounds like you got a lot of things right where it
that was
counts
nicely
up
put.
here.
Trying.
Seriously. Favorite segment here of Mecca's, at least. Best thing you've seen this week. Just literally the best thing you've seen in the last 7 days. It could be a sporting event, a movie, your niece's dance recital, literally anything that you've seen live or on TV, live or not live. Just the best thing you've seen this week. We're going to kick it off with Freaky Phil today. Were you raising your hand over there, man? Yeah, please. Yeah, by all means.
You must be seeing things. I don't know if you got enough sleep last night. Or
I did not. Nope, I did not.
I had something when I supposedly raised my hand. I think it just slipped my mind, actually. V.
What's good?
She's the best thing you've seen this week?
Do you know what you saw this week that was the best thing that you saw this week?
Yeah, actually. So, I've been watching a really cool TV show called Interview with a Vampire, and it's like one of my favorite TV shows right now. It was originally a movie and a book, and shout out to my dad because he's the one that showed me it. But it's such a good series, and it's continuing kind of like the movie and the book series too. But man, it's so good. It's so gory. It's really good. I think the original one had Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, the girl from Spider-Man, like the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, and then this new one. I forgot the actor's name, but he's really good. The one that plays Louis, he's really good. So I highly recommend if you like vampires.
Wow. I have never heard of this TV show or movie, but yeah, it has a star-studded cast. The 1994 film, at least. Antonio Banderas, Kirsten Dunst, as you were talking about, and then, of course, Tom and Brad, no big deal
boys.
there. Yeah. Cool, but it's a modern-day TV adaptation, you're saying?
Yeah, it's like a modern day. Well, and it follows the aftermath of the movie and the writer and
so
stuff.
it's like a...
Yeah, a little continuation.
Yeah,
it goes
sequel,
back,
if you will.
but then it continues forward.
Interesting.
Yeah, so highly worth the watch if you like vampires.
If you don't like vampires, you wouldn't advise it, though?
Yeah, because if you're not like into like the gore and stuff like that, then it might not be for you. But
Interesting. Nice.
I'm ready.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I would say, like, I saw my parents this week, actually.
Oh, nice.
Had a little pool day, the whole family. So that was nice to see them, like, after work and just kind of relax and stuff.
Yeah.
Eat. So, yeah.
I imagine you don't see them much.
No, I mean, it's my fault. And, like, they don't live far anymore. So it's just, like, I'm usually too tired or I have something else going on and don't want to, like, make the drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, kind of, but...
Yeah.
I'm glad
No,
you saw
I
it this
really,
weekend.
I really should make an effort, yeah.
Love Mecca. We're going to
best
save the
thing.
best for last, Mr. Loftus.
It's kind of funny because I don't watch TV or movies that much, but I watched this week Shrek, the first Shrek.
You've never seen Shrek before?
I've seen it before. I just haven't seen it since I was like really little.
Okay.
And I watched it again, and I realized like
Guess we'll
how
let that
good
slide.
of a kids movie it is.
Yeah.
Like it's like one of
Yeah.
like one of my favorite kids movies. I'd say.
Yeah.
Like all the little references, and they have like references for adults that like
Yeah.
kids definitely didn't catch, and like it's funny. It's cool.
You're a filmmaker. I know you can probably speak to that a little bit. There's a lot of, I think Disney does that concept that you're talking about very well. The Disney movies nowadays, they have so many little gems in there that children who are watching it have no idea. Like they don't catch a bunch of the references, but they intentionally put older things in older references, older quotes in the movie, so that the parents who are taking the kids there also like enjoy themselves and have a good time. And I haven't seen a bad Disney kids movie in years, and I mean like a decade. They're knocking out the park. Pixar's up there as well. Is that kind of a thing? Capturing the parents' attention as well as I mean, you're making a kids movie. It's for the kids, but kids can't drive themselves to the movie. Is that like a thought process?
Yeah, well, I mean, 100%. I mean, you pretty much stole the answer from me, really. I mean, it's, one could argue it's almost catered more towards parents in a way, because parents are one that are buying the tickets. Actually, I haven't looked at, the public stocks or anything like that recently, but actually Disney and their stock wasn't doing the best, and they were actually losing money with their network. I don't know if that's still the case anymore, but that was because of a lot of stuff they've been putting out recently. I guess apparently that's caused a lot of drop off with parents, and that was becoming a big, I guess, discussion amongst Disney was like, okay, like, yes, these are supposed to be for kids, but at the same time, like, who's really paying with the card? It's
Correct.
the parents, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a very, very interesting kind of path to walk. But yeah, it's funny. It's like nowadays I watch more kids movies than I did when I was a kid. They're just so fun, and like, it typically always ends nice, which is always great to go to bed off of.
Oh, man.
So it's good for me.
I completely agree. I'm even with like a rougher movie. I mean, I like realistic endings, right? But I say if I'm watching the movie, like make it end well. You know what I mean? Everybody, I can't stand what I'm trying to say, I guess, is I can't stand when like everybody dies in the movie. I feel like I almost
agree.
just wasted my time. Like nobody survived. I just know this story about this creature or being or spirit thing that murders people, but like nobody lived. There's no redemption. It's over. Like Avengers, Infinity War, Thanos snap, and then like did the bad guy just win? Like what? It was bad.
I feel like those are my favorite, though. Like Uncut Gems. You see that?
Bruh, that's like one of the worst. Okay, can I ask a question?
That was a great ending.
What's the worst? What's the worst or weirdest ending to a film you've ever experienced? For me, it's Midsommar.
Oh Jesus!
Like after I watched that, like I needed a kids movie. Like I couldn't just go to bed. I was like, I just feel weird. Like, can I call my mom? Like,
Yeah, that was Uncut Gems and Midsummer. That has to be like top 1 and 2 because both of them were crazy. I mean, yeah, talk about feeling like you just almost wasted time. That was
bro, for real.
that was crazy. That was crazy. The best thing you've seen this week, Mr. Loftus.
Oh yeah, the best thing I've seen this week.
Sweet hat, by the way.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Best thing I've seen this week. So I went to a Colombian spot called Ok Bueno on Sunday.
That's local.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
local. And I think it was El Plato de País, something like that. But, this thing was loaded, like steak, eggs, sausage, rice, beans, and I got a margarita too. So that was a great start to the week.
A little Sunday fun day.
But,
You count Sunday as the start of your week?
if we're being technical, but I mean,
Yeah.
like Monday's really the start. Sunday's kind of like I try and make a rest day if I can.
Yeah. Huh. Fair enough. Start is like a reset. I do the exact same thing. Sweet. Well, we will go ahead and get into some tunes here. This is brand new music by our featured artist here, Mecca, Icky Vicky. We'll be right back here on WPRK 91.5 Creative Control Radio. And we're right back here live on WPRK 91.5. We're Creative Control Radio. I'm Elijah.
I'm Mecca.
I'm V.
And I'm Hunter.
We're joined today by the ever-talented, special filmmaker, content creator, influencer, you name it, he does it. Drip style. He dresses himself, ladies and gentlemen. We have today here Kyle Loftus in the building. So, Kyle, this is a little bit more your segment here. When did you get started in what you do? Well, first of all, can you kind of tell us what you do? And then we'll get into the when, where, and why you started doing what you do.
Yeah, so real quick, elevator pitch style. I run a video production company and creative agency called Kyle Loftus Studios. We film anything and everything under the moon if I really want to do it, thankfully, because I'm the owner. But really what we focus on is working with health and wellness brands, creating strategic branded content that they can leverage on social media as well as broadcasts. So some of the recent brands we work with have been Gatorade, Puma, Alpha Lion, just to kind of name a few, but it's predominantly the target market. And then I also run a company called Art of Filmmaking, which is predominantly focused on helping filmmakers or really any kind of content creator who wants to really scale to a 10K plus month creative business and personal brand. And then I also have the Learn Videography podcast, which is really essentially kind of focused in the same plane as well.
Learn Videography? Is that more like your master class, or are you not?
It's essentially just a free resource for anyone. It's a free podcast to check out. So if you want to learn essentially how to go from zero, square one to climb to 100K per year revenue creative business, the podcast kind of guides you along the way. And then, my coaching program and my courses at the Art of Filmmaking are kind of more of a in-depth next step. So if you're really kind of looking to continue growing, or you really want to make that investment and speed ramp that process so you don't have to spend 7 years getting to where I have like I did, then that's kind of the next path in the process in regards to how they operate together in sync. Obviously, you don't have to go either of those routes.
Yeah.
You can do it yourself as well.
Yeah, sweet, man. So when did you start this? Kind of take us back a little bit. Paint a picture. How old were you? Where were you?
Yeah, so we want to start all the way back to like where the interest first sparked, or we want to just like speed ramp? Okay.
Interest for sure.
Cool. Yeah, so I think similar to a lot of people, I first started picking up my parents' camcorder when I was probably 12 or 13 years old. It was just a hobby. It was just something fun to do. To give some context, I'm 30, so if there's some younger people listening, when I grew up, when I was in high school, Instagram just started, just came out, right? So
Same.
when I was growing up before then, we didn't have social media. There wasn't Reels or Vines or any of this stuff. So for me, it was always just a hobby. I never saw a career or anything out of it. It was just something fun we did. So we would do jackass stunt videos. We remade horror films like Saw into parodies. We'd do fake wrestling shows, all different kinds of stuff. So that's really where the spark, first began.
Any of that original stuff come out decent?
I feel like I could clean it up. I could clean it up and make some of it work. Honestly, I feel like some of it is just so ridiculous. We had one of these. It was called Blanket Boy. So he was like a superhero and he'd save people, but he just
Captain
ran around with a blanket man. Yeah, it was just so stuff like that. I could see me maybe
That's cool.
remaking, if you will.
Sweet.
Yeah, man. So that's where the spark first began, and then fast forward, I went through middle school, high school, all that stuff, and really my focus was on sports, and I was trying to go and play college ball and football, and then go professional. For anyone listening, I could never play pro with my size. I was an offensive lineman. You guys are probably looking at me here in the radio like, yo, there's no way. This guy's crazy. I was a little
I would have
crazy.
took you for like a receiver or anything, seriously.
Yeah, man, I played O-line and defensive line. But anyways, in high school on the side, again, because of Instagram, I kind of reignited my passion on the creative side. I started taking a lot of photos on the side, shooting videos. And I had a really good buddy, Halim Abdullah, shouts to Halim. He was pursuing a career as an artist. And so I started shooting music videos for him. And, fast forward to college, again, because of my background in sports and passion for helping people, I was tentatively going to pursue a career to essentially in sports science and medicine, essentially to be a physical therapist or some kind of trainer at a professional football team or something. But in college, I started skipping class so much that my mom was like, "Yo, what are you doing? Do you even want to really go in this area? You're undecided right now. What are you trying to do? All you keep doing is spending time towards, photography and filmmaking. Why don't you just try and do that?" And so I was like, you know what? You're right. Why not?
Yeah.
And so I kind of just made the official decision to make that my major, screenwriting and producing at Ohio University, and never looked back.
Wow.
Yeah.
You might be the first person I've ever met that you graduated with the screenwriting and producing. I didn't even know, one, that was a course that they offered in mainstream colleges, and then two, I think you might be the first person I know that actually majored in it. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I guess we're being technical. So I went to the Scripps School of Communication. That's a very famous journalism school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's still one of the top schools. So it's more known for journalism. Man, I don't want to bash my college, but I don't want to give them.
Been there.
I don't want to give them credit,
Shame.
man. I think, and again, it's nothing with college, but it was a lot of lecture halls, and so I think similar to a lot of other people who are listening, maybe pursuing a career, I think really where all the learning really happens is in the experience, going out and
in
doing
the field.
it.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
Man, that was kind of my next question. Do you think being in college, matriculating through that, really prepared you for what you're going through now, or do you think people are better off? And there's no right answer. Individuals are better off jumping into the field, getting an experience, maybe getting an internship straight out of high school, to where by the time you are done with college, or let's say you're done with the 4 years that you would have spent in college, you're ready to start really chopping away at stuff.
Yeah. It's what I would say is if we're talking just from the standpoint of pursuing your career, and getting ahead, I think college kind of holds you back unless you're going to a couple specific schools. And the only reason, for example, if you're out in Los Angeles, right, and you're getting into some big schools there. Like you're getting into like New York's like Film Academy school. Like there's so many connections and relationships you can make there. So like maybe Full Sail could be a great option for people as well. But for example, like my school, like didn't really provide that much besides some basic lecturing. And a lot of that, again, I'm not trying, this is no disrespect by any means, you know, everyone's got their own path, but people that did things 10 or 15 years ago, right? And maybe we're producing projects for PBS. Well, I don't want to produce projects for PBS, and I don't want to create what you created 15 years ago. I want to learn from people that are doing it right here, right now, and creating the stuff that inspires me. So I think that's getting out in the field and networking. So there's some schools that can really provide that, but I think the mass majority don't. And I think we live in a world nowadays, especially post-COVID, where everything is way more skill-based.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
it might be harder to see if you're in college or you're at a younger age. But the one thing I would say is think about it like getting into the party at the frat where you know the one guy, or getting into the party at the high school where you know two friends, but you don't go to that school, right? Here, what I find, being 30 years old again, and just like in my friend group and my network, is that it's just so much more about your network. I know people that have gotten ridiculous opportunities that are way above what they've kind of gotten to in their career. Not that they weren't able to execute on it, but they got those opportunities because they put themselves in the right rooms, you know, and they put themselves out there and met the right people. And you're not getting that in a lecture hall. You know, you can learn things, but learning these things doesn't replace relationships. And at the end of the day, you know, relationships play a huge factor in where you go in life.
Experience. There's no substitution for experience. And then also, I mean, you said it. It's all about who likes you and who you know, unfortunately and fortunately. So then it's up to you as the person who's striving for more to, like you said, put yourself in rooms where you can thrive, where you can advance the plot, if you will. Brilliant. Nice, man. What are some challenges that you faced early on in the kind of production side of things? Did screenwriting come to you easy? Did like the thought process? And I have a follow-up to that too. But
I feel like the creative process, I don't want to say it's always come easy to me.
Natural, I
think, could work. I think for me, the creative process has just always been enjoyable. So although like at times it might be hard, or like I might come up with nothing, like I'm also not necessarily sitting there after like 3 hours of maybe only finishing a paragraph of a screenwrite, like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? Like, this is the end of the world. Like, I'm just really like thinking through the process. And I guess I've just always kind of had confidence in what I create and what I like. Like, I like it. And so that's what I want to make. I think the biggest challenges for me in my career early on was when I first moved here to Florida. So I moved here to Florida from Ohio, and I didn't know anyone or have anyone in my career, you know, and I was raised in a way where I believed, you know, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, right? So show up often, show up early, stay late, work harder than everyone else, you know, and things will come your way, and you'll get noticed. And I kind of felt like I tried to apply that so hard to my career path. And so long-winded answer, what I'm getting to is I kind of like let this ego build up where I wanted everyone to want to work with me so bad, right? Like I wanted to just kind of look and prove that I was just like the best filmmaker, and I worked harder than everyone else. And it's like, if you want to like reach the next level, you got to hit me up. You know, it's probably like a year or 2 years into living here, and like I was just like, I get like sad, I guess, if we're just being like getting brute to the word, you know, like I didn't have any friends or any good relationships or community or anything. And so one day I just said, you know, screw it. And I started really reaching out and trying to connect. And obviously, you know, it's been about 7 or 8 years now, so things are very different. It wasn't that it just happened overnight, but again, I have an amazing network, amazing friend group, amazing community. getting to be out here on the podcast because of network and community, right? And so, I think all of that, again, stems from me taking the initiative, taking action, rather than, waiting for opportunities to kind of come into my path, if you will.
I like what you said about kind of like at the end of like the session or whatever, you're not too focused on, the outcome, but rather like the journey of you like working through things and the process of everything. Because we talk about that a lot, like disconnecting from the outcome and just being like focused on the journey pretty much. So I think that's pretty cool. I wanted to ask you a little bit about, so I follow you on Instagram and I see like your journals and those like, I don't know if they're prompts or whether you like retroactively like just title them about what you wrote about, but I think the subject matter is really dope.
Yeah, I wish I could take credit for that. No, I'll credit to Ryan Holiday. So he's got I'm a big advocate for reading, especially like for me, audiobooks. I like absorb them. So Ryan Holiday's got an incredible book. I recommend you read that first, or do it in tandem. It's called Stoicism, or like modern day Stoicism. And so essentially it breaks down Stoicism. If you haven't ever heard of it before, it's essentially an ancient philosophy that's really just centered around kind of being the best version of yourself, to summarize in very, very short. And so he breaks down what Stoicism is and how to apply that in a modern day way and lifestyle. And then he has this book that follows with it. And so this book is really a journal. And so every day it has a journal prompt, and that's for the morning as well as the evening. So you reflect in the morning and at night. And every week has essentially a page, and on this page is about 2 or 3 quotes from various different philosophers of the past, like Socrates or Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, etc. And then it has a paragraph or two that essentially talks about or gives like a summary into the concept or theme of the week, if you will. And then all the questions kind of center around that theme. And so I had recently read his book. I read it last year, and then picked up his journal. So I read it in the summer, and then I picked up the journal, but me being, again, I guess weird, I decided to wait. I was like, I want to start this on January 1st. So I waited to start the journal and start on January 1st. And now, we're in June. We're 6 months in, and it's been it's a really, really fun journaling experience. And it's cool to get back to it. I actually journaled a lot in college, but I unfortunately slowly got away from that. But I highly recommend journaling, and I highly recommend that journal specifically. Available on Amazon, I'm sure Walmart, all that stuff. You can find it too.
How do you think you've kind of grown through that process of journaling so like consistently?
Man, it's just so hard to avoid your truths. Like you got to confront yourself every day in the morning and night. And like, you just can't dance around when you screw up or when, you lied or, you did something wrong. And so I think it's just a really good way of kind of just always keeping yourself in check, and I think that's really, really important because sometimes we all don't, especially, if you've left the nest, you don't necessarily have mom and dad around, maybe you don't have siblings, or maybe you don't have any close friends that you guys really connect or share in that way, and so it's like, who's holding you accountable, and so I think it's a really, really powerful way of doing that for yourself because, again, like they're very basic, but they're very powerful questions. I assume you're kind of tuning in regularly. For me, it's just like, again, there's no way to avoid it. So like, I know, like, hey, if the question is like, against one of the recent one was, if doing good for others was your vocation, are you doing a great job, or something relative to that nature was the question. And there's a couple relationships, to be honest, with some friends that I haven't been pouring into as much as I should be. And so for me, it's, again, it's like self-reflect on that. And it's being like, dang, like, I need to reach out to these people. Right. So yeah, man, it's been super helpful.
That's dope. I feel like, especially like nowadays, it's so easy to like distract yourself from like if you do something wrong, it's so easy to like, I'm just going to watch TV and then I'm going on my phone and then I'm going to, do whatever, and I'm going to go to sleep, and I'm not going to have to think about it. I'm not really going to have to reflect on it.
Or justify it.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
with something.
But like taking that time to reflect, and the questions are dope, obviously. But even just having that time to like process and not distract yourself, because your mind's going to go there like at some point too. So it's like that's something too we talk about, is like kind of unplugging, and you know, it's cool.
I don't know if I told you guys, but I think I switched over in January from journaling to doing voice notes, and that has been like monumental for me. I really like it. Also, like recording different sounds when you're just walking around, you know, especially like out in nature too, or in big cities. Each like sound is definitely unique, that you can hold in your phone forever, which is so crazy. But I like it too because I don't know what I sound like a couple of years ago. So I don't know. So I switched over from journaling to voice notes, and I recommend it for everybody out there.
Have you noticed like a progression for yourself, like even in your thought pattern, voice maybe even?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think speaking for me, like by myself, flows a lot more natural than writing, because I'll have writer's block, and I'll just sit there and I'll be like,
Amen.
I don't know what to write, and I know what I want to write, but
That's a
it's
good
just
point,
so
yeah.
hard. So when you're saying that you speak your truth within your writing, I really admire that, because it's so hard for me to just put it on the paper. But if I'm talking, I can talk about it. It's so interesting. But I don't know.
And these journals are in your phone?
Yeah, my voice notes.
See, this is the problem I have with journaling. I've shared this with Mecca before. What if, I mean, and it happens often enough, what if somebody gets a hold of your phone, gets a hold of your voice notes, gets a hold of your vulnerable, deep, maybe not secrets, but just the stuff that you haven't put out there, and the keeping yourself honest for yourself, by yourself, within yourself? What if somebody, it does get out there that I actually have
They got passwords for that, though.
Yeah, I know.
Well, obviously, if they get past the password somehow, or they hack your whole
Passwords on
phone,
it.
put 2 passwords on it. That's the solution. Does that? It probably doesn't hinder your. No.
No.
I'm the only one that's scared. And I'm scared.
What kind of things you done, man?
What's the worst that could happen?
I mean, I guess there's statute limitations, but I could be arrested.
I mean, if you're
The
going
worst
for
that
it-
could happen is that somebody could come kill me for it. Joke.
What?
Everyone loves a good redemption story, bro. Everyone loves a good redemption story.
Honestly. Huh. Interesting. So I count myself as a film movie critic's not a good word. Aficionado. I don't know if that's the right word either. But I imagine you enjoy films too, being a filmmaker.
I do.
What's your
A little bit. What's your like favorite? Maybe not genre, but like style of movie. If you know what I'm asking. Genre too, maybe, but
Psychological thrillers, for sure.
oh yeah,
For sure.
here
Like
we'll
what?
sound guy. Will
Well, I don't know if I'd consider this so much of a psychological thriller, but it definitely plays in the psychological realm. Fight Club is one of my favorites. Seven is definitely up there for me as one of my favorites.
Pitt,
It's
Morgan
definitely,
Freeman?
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely a psych thriller right there.
How about your favorite director? What's his name?
Christopher Nolan?
And the movie that's crazy.
They're all crazy.
The one with-
Interstellar,
That
Inception?
one. Inception.
Tenet,
Inception.
Inception.
Are you familiar with Inception?
Yeah, I'm familiar. He's my favorite director as well.
Oh, okay.
actually.
okay.
Good taste, great taste.
I'm like asking LeBron who's Michael Jordan. So psychological thrillers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd probably say the same thing. Thriller. Are you a horror movie buff?
No, not really. I can enjoy them. I can appreciate them. But I'm not a huge fan. For me, I think, and sorry for any horror fans that are listening, but I just think a lot of them lack real story. At least maybe not nowadays, but when I was watching more of them in high school and college, I just, they were just banking on extreme gore, or they're banking on just like ridiculous ghosts, or,
Jump scare.
Emily being possessed, but even bad, jump scares, like just wasn't good stories. For me, like The Strangers. If any of you guys have seen The Strangers, so that was a horror film that came out, I think, when I was in high school. I think it was like 2003 or 2004 or something like that. And that
They
was
recently remade it. Something like
I think
that?
they
Is that
just
separate?
I think there's one in theaters now. It's like
Correct, yeah.
The Strangers, the
Yep.
original or something, like the origin story. But anyways, this was like this film was the first one, the original one that came out was a loose film and interpretation kind of on the Charles Manson murders, which originally got me interested in it in general.
Yes.
And then seeing it, I was just like, wow, like I could see all of this actually happening, and what if it did?
Yeah.
Right. Whereas a lot of these horrors I watch and I'm just like, but this ain't happening. Like,
Yeah.
come on, this ain't
Yeah.
happening. Like,
And that's kind of what I was hitting on earlier in the show when I said like the realistic endings. That's where I find the most joy in watching any show, movie, film, is when the characters are relatable, maybe, but like maybe I can't relate to them personally as a person, but their actions, their thought processes, the next steps that they take, they're realistic, they're reality.
Yeah.
And I think that touches on like the horror scare aspect. It's like, man, what if I was in that situation, or that dude was coming after me? But you doll that up and tell it in a more creative way, and you got a decent horror film. Yeah, nice. What would what's your favorite series? Sorry,
ooh, favorite series.
as in movie trilogy, or it doesn't have to be a trilogy, but
Specifically trilogy.
yeah.
Okay,
That
well,
starts with God and ends with Father. No.
I'm gonna go the series route because I have a TV series that I'm passionate about, and I
Ooh.
feel like anyone, if they like
can't
psych
wait
thrillers,
to
they
see.
should watch. It's called Dark.
Okay,
It's on Netflix. It's a German
I
show.
was about to say it's foreign, isn't it?
So,
Like a little boy.
either watch it dubbed or what I recommend, watch it in their language. Just put on subtitles. Wow. So good. You want to talk about incredible storytelling? And if you're a Nolan fan, bro, you have to watch this.
Say less, I'm on it.
This is such a mind bend. Like, it's what I really love about this show too is it's one of those things where you got to disconnect from everything else to really connect with it. It's like you can't look away for 5 minutes, or you got to rewind. Like you can't miss anything. Like it jumps times and like so many characters, and like you realize. Yeah, I don't want to spoil too much, but
Yeah.
it's a really, really good show.
It's
and
a TV show.
TV series show.
nice.
Yep. And it's got a lot of like very cool like biblical references and historical references to cults. And so a lot of that stuff I just think is really, really cool and fascinating. And the villain characters are just incredible. One of the guys, he plays this villain named Joseph, which obviously Joseph being a big biblical name as well.
Brother of Jesus, right?
And he, man, he's such like, if I can hire him one day, like I cannot wait. That's a major goal for me as well. So yeah, check out Dark.
Dark, nice.
Yeah.
Do you take the psychological thriller to the like kind of detective world? Or are you into True Detective? Have you seen any of
Oh
those?
yeah, I've seen all of them actually. The most recent season was decent. The
Yeah.
first was the best. Not a big fan of the others.
First with
to be honest.
McConaughey, yeah,
Yep.
and Woody.
Yep.
That was
Woody
pretty
Harrelson.
good. You didn't like the one with Mahershala Ali when they were in the town with the missing children?
I mean, it was all right. I wasn't. I don't know.
First one
It's-
was the best for sure.
Yeah, it was just way better. And like for example, Vince Vaughn and who was the other guy?
Yeah, he played Ray Velcro was his Velcro was his
the
character name,
actor's
but
name, but that one was like just
it was
it
different.
was just bizarre. Like I was
It
like,
was
is
different.
this True Detective? What am I watching? Just like the story didn't seem to fit. Like it was just I don't know, man. But I think the last one was pretty good. So hopefully they're heading back in the right direction. But I think that's just a general kind of issue with modern day streaming platforms now. Is they're all just getting too corrupt with the money that they're making the series too long. And you gotta know when to wrap it up. I think.
Yeah.
Or they cut it way too short. Wait, like one season and it's over.
Yeah. I could sit here and talk about TV shows and movies all day, man. Freaky.
I wanted to ask, like, do you have like a preference between movies and shows, at least nowadays? Like, do you find yourself going to one more than the other, or enjoying shows more than movies, vice versa?
I think that there's probably more money to be made by keeping audience retention with series. Therefore, they put more time and attention into the series rather than movies. And so, unfortunately, as a result, I think the shows nowadays are just, they are way better. And they are way more interesting, in my opinion. At least comparatively speaking, when we look at the mass majority, all these different shows. Obviously, they pump out a ton, so 9 might fail, but one's going to be really, really good, and they can run 4 or 5 seasons on it. And still, I think they're probably making more profit or churning more profit than if they were to make a big investment in one big film and then it flops, right? And so I think just simply because of that, that's why I'm interested in watching more series than films. I just don't think there's as many good films coming out. But when there's a good film coming out, like, I'm going to go see it. Of course I'm going to see it, but I just don't think they're as common nowadays. They're trying too hard for the blockbusters.
Yeah, I've also heard of the argument that, like, with this show, like, there's seasons and different episodes, so there's more time for them to, like, build the world and build the characters, and people can get, like, way more invested in that. Whereas with, like, a movie, it's, like, maybe 2 hours that you have available to you to make this world and set everything up and have, like, a plot and it be exciting and have its moments,
And I think exactly what you described is what gives movies the opportunity to be great or greater, if you will, because your window is like this compared to a series where each episode could be an hour, 10 episodes. You get 10 hours to tell a story as opposed to 2, or if you're Christopher Nolan, 2 hours and 45 minutes. But yeah, awesome. Great point. Speed round here before we go to break. You're just going to scale them 1 to 10 as I call them out here.
Oof, okay. Wait, one being the best,
1 being the worst,
1 being the worst,
10 being the best. Ozark.
8.5.
Oof. Game of Thrones.
7.
Wow. Jeez. Keep it going, Micah.
Prison Break.
6.7.
Thank you for not scaling that so high. It's
Breaking Bad.
Oof. 8.
Nice. Well done, my friend. Well, very, very well done. I agree with all of this. Who's your highest rank? 8.5 was Ozark? Yeah,
Fire.
pretty good stuff there. Pretty good stuff. We're going to go ahead and take another musical break here. WPRK 91.5. Billie Eilish comes in very strong and quick on that song. But this is Billie Eilish, Birds of a Feather, off of her new album, Hit Me Hard and Soft. Mm-hmm. Creative right there. We'll be right back here on WPRK, Creative Control Radio. And we're right back here on WPRK 91.5. This is Creative Control Radio, and we're your hosts. I'm Elijah.
I'm Mecca.
I'm V.
And I'm Hunter.
Kyle Loftus in the building with us, ladies and gentlemen.
Look at it.
Mecca, the floor is yours.
I was just curious, because you seem like someone who's like continually developing their craft. So I was wondering if there's anything that any part or aspect of filmmaking that you're currently like kind of honed in on developing right now.
Right now, I'm making some major moves. No, I'm spending a lot of time and focus right now, kind of on more of some back end things and just really better systemizing and automating some aspects of both my businesses to free up some time. But in the next 2 months, I'm actually going to be spending a lot, or in the next 2 months, I'm hoping to transition into spending a lot more time kind of really getting back to screenwriting, as well as just really focused on my cinematography. I've been building out and really systemizing and automating this coaching course business with the art of filmmaking for the past 2.5, 3 years now, when it first got developed. So that's starting that business has required a ton of time and effort. And thankfully I've got very good foundation with it now. And so, yeah, that's where I'll be directing my time here very shortly.
It's fine. It's interesting.
Sweet. Is there any, you kind of shared one a little bit there, but any projects, major partnerships, anything like that you want to spotlight here? That you can spotlight? I know a lot of that stuff is confidential until it's able to be released.
Yeah. I mean, we got a project with Gatorade we just did, which was really cool. It's probably like a bucket list client. So we did multiple hero spots, which essentially are like, 30, 60-second commercial pieces that'll be on billboards and broadcasts, etc. We did those with 2 Jamaican athletes for the Summer Olympics. And we'll be able to release that content very, very soon. Gatorade's already releasing it. Unfortunately, we don't have permission yet, which is typically the way that goes with creative agencies and bigger projects like that. Outside of that, I'm shopping around 3 documentaries that I'm hoping to get turned into a series, which would be really, really cool.
Oh, wow.
And then, other big projects. We're constantly running through things. We have great clients, which is really, really fun. But I think the big thing for me is just, getting back more towards original content. And so I'm really, really excited just to write and make a short film again here in the next couple months.
Sweet. Hey, it's about that time, Mr. Freaky Phil.
All right.
We're getting into happening hypotheticals.
Crazy sound.
Ooh, tomato.
Yeah, whenever you make your jingle,
Yeah.
we'll be ready for you.
Okay.
Happening hypotheticals, just answer as honestly as you want. They're
So dishonestly.
hypothetical questions.
I got some light ones to start off because it's kind of ease into it.
Okay.
Well, we got to ease into it.
I mean, they're not nothing crazy. Nothing too bad. Would you rather be able to control the weather or turn into inanimate objects?
Could I unturn?
Yeah, you can turn into yeah.
Gotta be a lamp pole for 24 hours.
Man, I haven't thought about that one enough, but I'm gonna go with the inanimate objects.
Turn into an inanimate?
Yeah.
Or control the weather?
Yep.
Wait, are you able to experience? Like, if I turn into this microphone, can I hear and see everybody in the room?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I didn't think that far ahead, to be honest.
Well, it's your hypothetical. You make it up right now.
I'd say that you'd have the properties of that object, so you can hear, but you can't really see.
Fair enough. You are a microphone. Microphone doesn't have eyes.
Yeah. You still have your brain, it's still your brain and your process and mind, but
You can only do what the object can do?
yeah.
What? I'm going with the weather.
Oh yeah, I'm changing the weather. The turn into an object could be very, very useful in a lot of circumstances.
What would you do?
But if I could, it starts raining outside, or clear it up and it's sunny again. Can I get a little snow coming down if I just do?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm going.
You said inanimate object, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you do with that?
Man, I mean, again, call me weird, but there's just so much to experience, dude.
We're thinking
I'll be a
about
plane.
objects.
I'll be a
Think about
plane.
different objects. Yeah.
I'll be a missile. I can just shoot. I fly. I explode, and then I just come back together. And
You could
then
be any car you want.
decide to be sand. I could be a car. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang, I would be.
It is smooth. I didn't think about that.
Dang, I would be Paula Patton's loofah.
Wow. Well,
What?
that was.
Bruh.
Oh, what is this?
What the dog do?
V, what we got?
Inanimate object for sure.
Yeah. What do you turn into, V? Top 3.
A guitar. Ooh,
So
a
you can be
boat.
played?
You know,
So you can be ridden? Rode? Ridden?
Yeah, it's like Jimi Hendrix or something. That'd be sick.
Play that would hurt. He'd be
Nah.
pulling on
Somebody's
his
just
string.
stroking your guitar strings?
He breaks a string. Cooked.
A boat. Maybe a car.
Fair enough.
Good answers.
Good question.
Next one. Thank you. Next one is also pretty light. Would you rather be able to talk to animals or speak every language fluently?
That's a good one.
I'm talking to animals.
the practicality in me and like the business side, it'd have to be every language. But talking to animals would be so cool. I mean, I can do that now. Just where's the camera? Let's talk to anything you want.
All right.
Cut the clip.
Would the animals be like if you were talking to the animals? Would they be like cool, or would they be like animals?
We
about
wouldn't
it?
really know. I feel like there's this one. Oh, I think it's like a Rick and Morty
Bunch of
episode.
jerk animals.
Like would a
That would
gorilla?
suck.
Would he have like a temper?
You can finally talk to like your dog, and it's just like, man,
This food, bro.
He just bite you anyway. He's like, what?
that'd be horrible.
I feel like it would just depend on the animal, you know? Like, there's like, you can encounter bad people, and you can encounter good people, and I feel like it would apply.
Yeah, I'm doubling down. I'm definitely speaking every language.
All right.
I didn't even consider that the animals being jerks was an option. That kills that for me. Dr. Doolittle, if all the animals like hated him.
That's a tough one.
Kyle, what do you think?
So I kind of have an issue with this question, you know. 'Cause, all right, so let me break it down. Right, so I agree. I would say, you know, business and experience wise, I think, you know every single language, right? So I know English, and I've not taught myself, obviously. I've learned from help, Spanish. So I've got 2. I could learn more, right? And so that kind of like leads me to go towards the animal route. Also because with AI and just technology and how fast it's advancing, you know, probably in 10 or 15 years, you'll probably just have an earpiece that directly kind of like does all this translation process for you, right? So that makes me want to go the animal route. Very, very hard. But if we're also being brutally honest, I don't think animals at the end of the day, like, they don't communicate how we imagine, right? Like, their communication is it's broken down very, very, it's like having a very, very basic language where you know like 30 words, right? And we forget the fact that actually, even though we use language all the time, and we've just been talking this entire time on the podcast, really, all the communication, like especially amongst us and how we're seen in here, right, is like it's our tone, it's our body language, it's our facial expressions. And so without even understanding an animal, like if you could talk to animals, right? Like I don't think you're actually talking, like you just like be able to bark perfectly like a dog or like really go like a gorilla or growl like whatever, you know what I mean? Like
It's not like their intelligence comes along since you can understand that
But-
they're still.
But if we're playing hypotheticals, and that be the case, that if I decide to be animal and we can talk like this and have a very, very intellectual, in-depth conversation and use a lot of big words, I'm definitely going the animal route.
No, I've been scuba diving so much that I feel like it would come useful for me because I've seen some sharks, I've seen some dolphins, turtles, and I'm like, yeah, exactly, like get away from me.
They're going to be like, we got one that talks. Come on, guys. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Cool.
Ready?
You
The
got some
next one?
heavy hitters?
Yeah, we're ready for the
Yeah, we're
heavyweight
getting to
round.
the. So if you had the opportunity to document an ongoing war, so you were like actually in the war zone and everything, but it was guaranteed that not the whole crew would make it back, would you still take the opportunity to do it?
Wait, what?
That's a Kyle Loftus question.
Yeah, it's more like
I'm out.
filmmaking. Dude.
I'm good on all
Okay,
that.
so a little more context before I get canceled here. Do I know ahead
No,
of
you
time?
don't. You don't.
I don't know.
You don't necessarily know, I guess.
Okay, well, I mean,
You know there's a risk because you're going into like a war zone, so you
Yeah.
know there's a risk, and everybody that's on board knows there's a risk.
It's like a reporter.
yeah, I mean, not I guess to go the dark path, but especially, yeah, we're being brutally honest. Like, especially if I don't know ahead of time, like, but I know there's risks. Yeah, well, there's inherent risks in anything in life. There was inherent risk in me getting in the car and coming here. I could have crashed and died too, right? So, yeah, if there's a war, I feel really compelled to go cover, and I've outlined the rules and the risks that follow with that to my crew, and they still accept and say, hey, I want to go there, I want to be there 100% no matter what. Then unfortunately that might happen, but I think I'd like to believe I wouldn't live with a guilty conscience, knowing that we are all acting in a place of love. If we're kind of maybe going full circle. place of love and being bold. I don't know if weird fits into it exactly, but definitely a place of love and being bold and doing it for the right reasons. And you know, I'd rather die young knowing I was trying to better the world and do big things than live till I'm, you know, 80 or 90 years old and just knowing that I always played it safe.
Would you feel guilty if you went in with a 6-person crew and maybe only 2 of them came back with you? Would you feel like that was like your thing? Because they were following you in, but they willingly followed you in.
Yeah, I think that would really suck, being honest. I think I would definitely go to a very dark place, probably for a while. But I think, you know, I think either my justification or my light at the end of the tunnel would be, you know, again, like, okay, so that happened. So I can either waste my life away, I can sit here and whine and cry and complain, or
Honor their memory.
you know, I can honor their memory. And I'm assuming, and I'd like to believe that's kind of exactly what I do, and it'd probably just lead to me in a very all in for this kind of route, you know, which I think is kind of what happens to a lot of people that become big advocates for various things, be that cancer or whatever, you know, is they unfortunately lose a loved one or something similar, right? And they feel so gung-ho isn't the right word. I want to use like a better, more empathetic word, if you will. But they get so enthusiastic in this pursuit and changing this and not letting this experience happen to anyone else. And so I think ideally that would be my path as well, as my form of redemption, if you will.
Sweet. What about you, Mecca? You going over there?
No,
Yeah. Easy call, huh?
I'm not a. Yeah, I don't really. I feel like I would. If I wanted to do that, I would try and do that now. I don't really want to do that. I could be a war journalist. I don't want to be a war journalist.
No. DJV?
Same with Mecca.
Yeah. I'm out. That's why I say that was a Kyle question, because I'm humbly bowing out of that one.
Figured. All right. This one's more fun, I would say. Like, if you could just choose 3 people, like directors, actors, whatever, that you could work with, who would you choose and why?
That was kind of my question. But
Yeah.
3 people to work with.
I got a follow-up.
Okay. Man, that's so hard. Richard Branson is definitely one of them. I'm going to go Elon Musk as another. Ooh. I guess we'll do Nolan. I feel like I need there's probably like an athlete or a good philosopher I'd really love to work with. For example, like I'd love to pick Jordan Peterson's brain for a day, or hang with Gary Vee and same thing, like just pick his brain. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough to pick 3. It's tough to pick 3 for sure.
What 3 actors, this is follow-up, sorry, kind of get away from the hypothetical here. What 3 actors, if your task was to make the best psychological thriller that you could, what 3 actors would you cast?
Man, that's so hard, because like it's so dependent on like the psych and like what the route you're going for. Like, oh man, who would be my 3 actors?
Psychological thriller.
You want to sing the Jeopardy music?
Oh, don't do that to me. Man,
I forgot to put in the logs. Jeez. No, I was forgetting something.
what's oh my gosh, I feel so bad not getting the names. What was the recent Jordan Peele film? You guys remember where they go into the it's like the circus tents? It's like the Dan with the upside down world. What's that woman's name? The wife.
It was called Us, right?
Us, yeah. But what's the?
I'm looking up the cast.
She was a phenomenal actress. Her
Lupita?
or
You talking about the black wife?
mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Lupita Nyong'o.
Yeah,
Oh,
she
okay.
would be fire.
Yeah,
I
she
also
captures that thriller.
think, actually, in a weird way, I think Keira Knightley could be really, really good. Not necessarily as like a villain per se, but like kind of like victim that maybe kind of starts to lose it and join like the Brotherhood cult or something weird like that, you know. Man, who else? I don't want us to sit and bake on this too long. Who else? You know, Christian Bale, American Psycho. That's a great film. I think he's just an incredible actor, so he could play a lot of different things. And then I'd love to do one just to. But Bryan Cranston, I'd love to work with him. Let's do Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey would be a fun one to work with, and I think people like how loosely and close or quickly like The Mask could have been made like a weird psycho thriller. And then if you guys ever saw the number 20, it was 23 or 22 with him in it. That was a pretty good psych thriller, and I was like, whoa, like Jim Carrey could be pretty wild.
Yeah.
So like I could see him being like a Joker character or something like that. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Leaning into that, using that weird, goofy comedy side he has, and leaning that into a very dark, twisted nature. So I think those would be cool actors to work with.
That's a solid cast right there, man. Yeah. I been watching lately just a little bit more stand up, and I've been watching Jim Carrey stand up, like his early stuff.
Straight physical comedy.
Yeah, he's a kind of like what you just said, very animated. Uses his different voices, his different body movements to tell different stories. He's a genius. I could definitely see him in a psychological thriller.
Yeah, him and Robin Williams were probably two of my biggest acting influences growing up.
I took this one class my senior year of college here at Rollins, and I just needed credits. So it was like a horror in films and movies or something class, and it was one of the best classes I've ever taken, in my opinion. But our teacher distinguished what makes something horror driven, and it's like a what's the word? A distortion of like reality to the point where it gives you chills, like creeps you out. So, for example, if one of these lights, it's probably the most prominent example, if one of these lights were flickering, that just automatically triggers in us a little bit of unsettledness. The light being on and the light being off and turning on and off is very natural, normal, but it flickering, that little slight distortion of how it's supposed to be working, flickering on and off, adds that little slight horror feel.
Like uneasiness.
Yeah. I thought that was profound and cool, and that is why it was one of the best classes I've ever taken. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Nice.
We got to wrap it up here. It is 8:38 p.m. on this beautiful Tuesday evening. We're going to get into shout-outs here. First of all, thank you. Shouts out to Kyle here coming on the show. I think we all know a lot of people named Kyle, but you're the first filmmaker I know named Kyle. So we appreciate you coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
And sharing your wisdom, your thoughts, and your industry, your perspective to us. Seriously, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's fun.
DJ V, who we shouting out today? And it can't be the moon, whoever gave you that little moon piece right there.
Oh.
It can be. It can be.
Shout out to all our moms, all our dads. Shout out to the Creative Control team. Shout out to Rollins College for having us every week. And shout out to you guys, the listeners.
Shout out the team, my friends and family, Kyle for coming on again, and anybody listening as well.
Mecca. Love Mecca.
Shout out to the CC team. Shout out to everybody tapping in week after week. We really appreciate y'all. Shout out to Kyle for coming on, leading with love, coming in and just enjoying the energy. It was a dope episode.
Bold, weird, and love. Who we shouting out today, Kyle?
Man. Well, I got to give shouts back. You know, you guys brought me out, more specifically Mecca, for inviting me. It was dope to come on here and chat with you guys. Then a specific shout out. Man, I gotta shout out my sister. You know, she's got a little baby boy, a little bit over a year old, and she's just crushing it. You know, it's really, really cool to see her be a mom and grow into that, and just, you know, reflecting on our younger days, and all the hell we kind of went through, torturing each other as little kids and stuff, and just seeing her grow up and everything is really, really cool. So, shouts to you, Kels. Keep raising my little bro.
Awesome. Shouts out to you, of course, Kyle, coming on. Shouts out to the entire Creative Control team, even our soon-to-be new hired team member that we have not located yet. Shouts out to Rollins College, WPRK 91.5, of course, the Alphond Inn, Mead Botanical Gardens, and Full Sail, where we will be putting on a music fest coming here to Winter Park, in Winter Park, for Winter Park, by Winter Park. Shouts out to the terrific people at both institutions doing a great job and helping us bring that about. We appreciate you guys listening each and every week, tuning in. Of course, you can reach us at Creative Control Radio on Instagram, CC Radio Show 2022 on Facebook and Twitter. And for our more pre-modern listeners, right? Pre-modern. You can always email us at Creative Control Enterprise at gmail.com. Shouts out to my mom. Shouts out to my folks always listening. Shouts out to Junie. We appreciate you, Junie. Didn't use your trivia this week, but that's always next week. That's it for Creative Control Radio. We appreciate you all. Lots to look forward to. Hold on, I'm remiss. Kyle, where can we find you, your work, everything that you're standing for?
Yeah, Kyle Loftus Studios. Just type it in anywhere.
Kyle
Twitter,
Loftus,
Instagram.
and that's Loftus, Loftus.
Yep, YouTube. If you just type in Kyle Loftus, I'll probably be one of the first ones to come up if you do Kyle Loftus Studios. But yeah, Kyle Loftus Studios, any socials, any stuff like that.
Nice.
You'll find me website, KyleLoftusStudios.com.
Sweet. Awesome.
Let's connect.
Cool. Hey, we'll see you guys next week, same time, same place. Special guest next week as well. We'll see you.